Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Truth About Real Estate Investing show for Canadians. This is Erwin Cito. Yes, this show is for Canadians. I always see, I appreciate the feedback, folks, the people who DM and comment on the iTunes reviews. Yes, this show is for Canadians. We have almost no American content. So, again, this is the Truth About Real Estate Investing show, and the whole point of this show is to share truths around real estate investing. For those who haven't been around as long as I have, I've been around since about 2005 investing. I've been part of real estate networking, organized networking clubs since 2008. There's a lot of things that aren't true out there that are taught, and there's a lot of poor ethics and morals out there as well. So here on the show, we're always attempting to cut through all the BS and get to the good people and the stories they have to share, especially the tips and tricks that have made them successful, so that you may all learn from their success and be able to replicate it. Okay, so let's go with the show. What was I thinking not hiring a coach sooner? For the regular listeners, you know that I'm a big fan of self-development, learning, reading, and one of my favorite hacks is having coaches, hiring coaches. I have CrossFit coaches, I have a realtor coach, I have 2 stock hacking coaches, I have a new real estate investing coach, and a pretty good pretty new golf coach. My golf coach's name is Chris Conroy, and he's a lot better at golf than I am. He's an associate golf pro at a pretty nice public course in Oakville, Ontario. He's tall, thin, 150 pounds. He's a scratch golfer, and he can drive the ball 300 yards. We're both pretty confident. I'm a lot stronger than him. About 30, 35 pounds bigger. I can lift a decent amount of weight for my age and size. Again, he's a scratch golfer. Chris is a scratch golfer, which means that he is in the top 1.6% of golfers who actually report their scores. So, for example, like none of my friends report their scores. So, yeah, he's among the population. Yeah, he's just another level. And why do I talk about golf all the time? Well, as with anything in life, business, health, investing, I view everything as an experiment. Parenting too. Parenting I view as an experiment. When the pandemic hit, the first thing that we were allowed to do again was to golf. So I took the sport. 2020, this year is the first year I've ever played more than twice in a season. So I think that qualifies me as a beginner, and this is truly my first year of playing. This past Friday, I just had my 4th golf lesson with Chris, and finally made some massive improvements. The most improvement I've made all season. I just kind of turned a corner, just had a bit more time to focus, and I was seeing results and then staying with it. So right after my lesson, we played 9 holes, and I proceeded to have my best 9 holes of the season, highlighted by landing my ball 12 feet from the hole on a 193 par 3 with using my 5-iron. That's a bit, and for those who don't understand that, that's okay. That's a pretty good. That's probably the best shot I've ever made in my life. It's also 30 yards further than I normally hit my 5-iron, and I made the putt for my first birdie of the season. The next day, I was golfing with Cherry and 10 other friends. It was a beautiful Saturday. I had one of my better rounds again of the season, including three pars. I parred 3 holes and a birdie on the front 9. So I had my second birdie of the season the day after my lesson. Pretty cool. Again, what's the point of all this? After the round was over, I couldn't help but kick myself if I could do it all again, I would have invested more heavily into coaching near the beginning of the season, as I could have practiced a lot more with better technique and better practices, and I feel the season was almost wasted. It's from the golf perspective, from the networking perspective, it's been wonderful. This has yet been another experiment that proved to me the value of coaching, practicing golf, like as in like going golfing and going to the driving range, and watching all these YouTube videos, reading articles online as much as I did, experimenting on my own. I spent tens of hours, probably at least 100. I'm sure I spent at least 100 hours this season, and that did not compare to the amount of distance I made up the learning curve in just 4 hours of coaching that I received. 4 separate lessons, 4 hours of coaching. Going forward, my plan is to take weekly lessons, as it is it's actually one of my stock hacking goals, to be able to afford myself a nice golf membership for next season. So in my experience, I pay tens of thousands each year for different coaches. If you combine all, oh wow, yeah, I pay a lot. I pay well over $30,000 a year in coaches. across different disciplines. It's all returned for me. So my question for the listener is something to ponder is, where can you fast track your success by hiring a coach? I've wasted a lot of time in areas by not having a coach, so please don't make the same mistakes I did. This week's guest, 26-year-old Joe Costanza, was smart, and he worked with Coach Tammy DiTommaso from my iWin Real Estate team to begin his real estate journey. If you're interested in learning for free the same strategy implemented by young Joe, who's increased his net worth by over $300,000 in just 20 months, then go to www.iwinrealestate.ca. That's www.iwinrealestate.ca, and enter your contact information to be notified of our next free training class on the number one investment strategy in real estate. It's actually kind of funny. Number one investment strategy in real estate, and it's kind of proven its way for anyone who's been following the market for the last, since about May. Legal basement apartment houses are the hottest thing in real estate right now. Anyways, on to this week's show. I first met Joe Costanza 20 months ago when he was a starry-eyed 24-year-old who had been hustling since a teenager, working several jobs, living at home to save up down payments for real estate. He's an architect by trade. Having tried several side hustles less than successfully, Joe settled on real estate without much support from his parents. Fast forward to today, Joe owns 3 properties, 2 he's already duplexed, and a third to be duplexed, with the third being with a new joint venture partner. This is Joe's story. For those who like numbers, we're pretty heavy on the numbers on this episode, so have your pens ready. I give you Joe Costanza. Hey, Joe.
What's going on?
Not much. What's keeping you busy these days? Drinking?
Drinking, yeah, a little bit of drinking. More just working on like getting a third place ready to go. Right now, just work mostly. Besides that, yeah, nothing really too exciting going on in my life.
So last time you were on the show, how many jobs did you have at that time?
1 full-time, 2 part-time.
Was one of the part-times real estate investing?
No, there was another one.
Okay.
Mostly it was really only 2, but there was kind of like a third here and there. It was like part-time sales for a granola company I won't name.
I think I knew about that one.
Yeah,
were you hiding that from me?
No, we never brought it up in conversation. I think I brought it up once, but like it was very kind of in passing. But mostly just at the restaurant, and then working full time.
Okay.
So yeah.
Weren't you in landscaping?
That was a job sort of before I got into investing, but by the time I actually started, I kind of stopped that already.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. So you're 26?
Yeah, 26. Apparently it keeps getting younger though. So
and you just bought your third property?
With a JV partner, yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah. We're not getting this working here. Okay, good.
I know no one can see us. Our microphone stands are brand new, so they have a mind of their own.
There. Is this better?
Yeah.
Is this working? Okay, good.
Yeah. So young Joseph you were 24, I think, when we first met you.
Yeah, I was 24. I was 24 when we actually closed on the first property, but a few months later, I turned 25.
I still remember meeting you at an iWin meeting.
The first one.
Was it the first
one? It was the first one. The first iWin meeting. Yeah. I was like the second person to sign up, I think.
It was a January?
It was the January one.
So 3 properties, 26 years old. You're 24 when you closed in your first one.
Yes. It's been about a year and a half, 2 years. Closing in on 2 years now.
And I was picking on you before we started recording about your summer, but you were actually grinding in the summer too. You were renovating.
Yeah. We were working. It went a little longer than expected, but we were renovating the second place.
Right.
Which turned out pretty good. But, still working on the refinance right now, but I think I did a lot of it myself, so I saved a lot of money on the renovation side of it. So The numbers should work out really, really well. I'm happy with them.
Right. How long did the renovation take? So actually, let's take a step back. So Joe's second property, also a bungalow. You're planning on suiting the basement.
Yeah. So when we purchased it, the basement already actually had a suite in it. We were just updating it because it was some old cabinetry, some walls, and some fire rating stuff that needed to be done. And then mostly upstairs was just a full gut.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a weird one. Yeah, the basement was finished, but the upstairs needed to be completely renovated.
Sometimes that happens. Yeah. People decide to invest in the basement, and then since nothing changes, and they don't
exactly
do anything to the main floor.
Exactly.
So you had to do full gut, so flooring,
flooring, some drywall, a lot of obviously the bathroom and the kitchen mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was about it. Replacing all the doors, everything, like all the kind of finishing stuff as well.
Okay, so let's continue on the second property. What did you pay for?
500.
500 even.
500 even, yeah.
And then what would the renovation budget have been if you went through a general contractor?
I think closer, probably 75, 80.
Okay.
I did it for about 65, but obviously that 65 included a lot of mistakes. So probably just learning from that. I'm not going to be doing a lot of it myself. I think it's just not worth my time in terms of from that perspective. But yeah, about 65 for the full reno.
So you're in the property for 500 and you did your own drawings?
Yeah, I did my own drawings.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, Joe is a architect by trade and a practicing architect. That's your day job?
Yes.
Right. So you design like skyscrapers and stuff.
More like mid-rises, single family homes and stuff like that. But yeah.
So that stuff's easy for you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty common stuff. It's nothing I'm not like accustomed to. Actually, I took the job, long story short, I took that job specifically because I wanted to start investing. And I wanted to understand the construction of, I had been doing a lot of mid-rise and high-rise before then. So I took the job with this firm to learn about that sort of low-rise construction, wood frame construction, which is obviously a lot of these smaller single-family homes.
Almost all of it.
Yeah, exactly. So I took that job specifically to learn how these homes are constructed in order to kind of get involved in the sort of investing side. That was sort of my in. Yeah.
Amazing. So when did you close on the property?
We closed in March.
When did you finish renovations?
Finished renovating October. So it was a longer renovation than I definitely wanted it to be. But I mean, COVID didn't help. And then I had a handful of contractor issues. Yeah. Some non-payments and some shoddy work and stuff like that I had to get redone. So that ended up costing me a little bit more than I wanted it to, but it was a learning experience. So it's all part of it. Just pay your dues.
And then when did you rent it out?
We actually rented out upstairs back in September because that was all finished. And that we rented for $2,000. And then we rented the basement recently.
Wait. You rented the main floor for $2,000?
For $2,000.
Okay.
And then the basement recently we'd rented for $1,700, but the tenants ended up backing out. So now I'm looking for tenants again.
Okay. There's a lot to cover here.
Yeah.
Who rented it? 2,000's high, isn't it?
I didn't think it was. Apparently it's on the higher end of what people are renting for, but I see a lot of 1950s on the market right now too. So, So I don't think it's that high.
Well, the market's hot.
Yeah.
For rentals.
There's that too. It keeps
2,000 inclusive or?
Oh, no, sorry. 2,000 plus utilities.
Plus utilities. How are you splitting utilities?
I wanted to do a meter, but I actually ended up just doing like a 60-40 split. Upstairs, 60% of utilities. Downstairs, 40% of utilities.
Okay. And then you did have someone for the basement for how much?
We had someone for the basement at 17.
Yeah, that's got to be up there at the highest.
It's on the higher end. I don't think it's the highest I've seen.
Okay, there's a difference between asking and what people actually
get.
That's
fair.
Well, what'd Tammy say? Has anyone gotten more than 17?
She told me to go at 16, and I just kind of went out on a limb and went for 17, and we ended up getting it within 2 weeks. But they've, like I've said, they've recently backed out because it was a couple, they had relationship issues, and so I have to find new tenants for it. So we'll see how that goes. If I can get someone for 17, then I'll stay at 17. But if I can drop it, if I have to drop it to 1650, 16, then I'll do it. I need to get rented more than anything else right now.
Pretty cool. They would pay 40% split of utilities.
Yeah, of utilities. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you got to be up there for 3,700 plus utilities. So I'll give you an example. I'm in the middle of a refi. So I went with the appraiser and who else did I go with? My handyman, went through my 3 duplexes because I was getting them all appraised for refinancing. And I was going through one of them and I didn't remember the rents, so I had to ask them. So the basement tenant, and I fully renovated that basement. Nice big window, egress window, granite countertops, brand new kitchen, brand new bathroom. No, the bathroom was okay. New flooring, nice. 2-bedroom. I asked the tenant, what are you paying again? Because the appraiser needed to know.
Yeah.
And it just said $1,200, and everyone laughed at me. Actually, my property manager was there too, and he just laughed at me. And I forget who said it. I think the property manager said it, and he said, "Oh, you should never leave." I'm like, "You asshole."
He wants his job. That's what he wants. That's why.
For the listener, you may not have background, but you hear Joe across the table from me he had 1,700, and I'm getting 1,200 for a pretty nice place.
Probably the same. Probably nicer than mine.
I renovated that basement about 3 years ago, so it's
it's new. It's fairly new.
Yeah, it's fairly new.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you must have that seems low for 3 years ago too, no?
I don't know. I think it was maybe the timing as well. A lot of things were off. Yeah, that one didn't rent fast. I'm not sure exactly why, even though I thought the location was great because it's just behind the Mountain Plaza. So the Mountain Plaza has a Walmart Superstore, has an LCBO.
Yeah, you're close to everything.
Has a McDonald's, has a Subway, Tim Hortons, right? Bulk Barn. There's a CIBC. There's a Subway. Like, yeah.
Right around the corner.
Yeah. And then my upstairs, I don't even think I was getting 1,500 for the upstairs. So combined, I was getting 2,700 versus you were getting
3,700. Yeah.
$1,000 more.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, my tenants may never leave.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Very happy for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
And then how did you raise the money for the third property?
So the third property was done through a joint venture partner. Mm-hmm. My parents were looking to get into it. Mm-hmm. So I know that's a whole discussion you want to get into, but I ended up JVing with my parents on that one. So yeah,
fantastic.
It's been a long road getting them into it. It's been almost 8 years since the conversation of real estate first started in the house, and then by the time I started doing it, they kind of had gotten on board within the last year.
Okay,
I think.
So before we get to that, let's go back to your first property for the folks who haven't listened to your show, because we've actually almost doubled our listenership from about a year ago. So a lot of people have no idea who you are, Joe Costanza.
Hi.
Everyone, this is Joe. All you single ladies, this is Joe. 26 years old, already owns 3 properties. So first property, when did you get it?
First property, we closed on it back March of last year. Or not, yeah, March of...
2019? No.
2018? Was it 2018? Must have been 2018. March of 2018. Wait, no.
No, you're right.
No, 19. March of 2019.
Oh my God. It's
only been 2 years.
Not even?
Yeah, less than 2 years, yeah.
Been 20 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, you haven't had it long. Okay. What'd you pay for it? Do you remember?
I paid $470 for that one.
How much work needed to be done to that?
We put about 65 again into that one.
Right.
And then it refinanced for 610.
How long ago was that?
That was last year around maybe this time.
Yeah, what do you think about the current prices?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking of refinancing it now just to pull out the remaining equity that I have in it. I think it'll probably go. I'm having some tenant rotation in that unit come like next 2 months. So I'm hoping to renovate it and then up the rents and then refinance that. Right. But I think it should probably go for like $675 at least for a refinance. You're looking at me like you think that's low.
Yeah, it's probably low.
Yeah,
because it's also you also made it illegal.
It's legal. 6 parking spots.
Wow.
Yeah, legal 6 parking spots. Decent backyard, not something huge, but decent. And then obviously fully renovated in the basement, and then the upstairs we left as existing. But I'm probably going to touch that up and then look to rent it out again.
Yeah, because I remember so a couple of things to unpack here. This property, you legalized the basement apartment.
Yes.
6 parking spots.
Yeah, okay. We went a little overboard on that one.
Okay. I remember you had some budget issues.
Yeah.
We did have to see where the money went.
Probably could have done it for a lot less, but it happens.
I remember this property because not only were we proud of you, because you then at that time you broke the record for being our youngest client. Previously was Evelyn LaMarche. Mm-hmm. She holds some pretty serious records, so you have some work ahead of you to do. Because she's owned 10 properties for quite some time now. Yeah. So her net worth is significant. At the time, she was our youngest client ever at 26 years old when she closed on her first investment property. So you were 24 when you closed your first investment property. And I remember your property, it was not only did we celebrate the fact that, the special achievement that you did, but I remember how not so nice the main floor was.
It wasn't that bad. You made it seem like it was horrible. It wasn't.
The blue kitchen countertops just
it rented fine.
That was the thing, though. That was the amazing thing. Like, it rented fine. You rented it fast for was it 1,700?
Yeah, it was just a fresh coat of paint upstairs. That's basically all we did.
Did you do that yourself? You did that yourself?
Yeah, we did it ourselves.
You and your sister or something?
No, me and my dad mostly, and my mom helped a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Family business.
Family. It's become a little family business. My dad helped me paint a little bit on this one too.
And so you rented out the main floor for 17. Was that also plus utilities?
It was $1,750 plus utilities. Yeah,
1750 with blue kitchen countertops. So it was a laminate, right? It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fancy blue stone.
No, we're ripping it off next, and that's the first thing to go once these tenants flip over. But yeah.
Because the main floor was dated, was it not?
It wasn't updated, but it wasn't that dated. It wasn't like overly dated to the point where it was like...
It was like 80s instead of 50s?
Oh, it was probably like 90s, mid-90s.
90s weren't a bit of embarrassing for fashion and music. We're with 90s, okay. So maybe you rented it to some people that enjoyed the 90s. And then what'd you rent the basement for? Fully renovated basement?
$1,500.
$1,500 at the time.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's...
$3,250 was the total rent.
Thank you.
God, I'm sorry, man.
No, I appreciate it.
I bet you did a punch there, didn't I?
I admit it. I readily admit that I'm like the worst Asian at math. So, okay, hang on. How long did the renovation take?
Start to finish, it took 5 months. 5 months.
5 months. So then March, that puts you into August. You rented it out in August or September?
We rented upstairs early because it wasn't that much that had to get done.
Right.
And most of the work was already done in the basement. It was just sort of like the electrical work that needed to be finished. So we rented the upstairs back in July, 1st of July.
Mm-hmm.
So holding cost was only about 3 to 4 months.
Right.
Yeah.
And the basement was rented what month?
Basement was rented in end of August. Like mid-August it was rented, and then they moved in beginning of September.
Okay. We're just over a year later, and rents have increased in your
ridiculously.
Yeah, increased by $450, which is almost 15%.
Yeah.
I'm sure other people who are not driving while listening to this podcast and do the math in their head, but yeah. So between 10 and 15% rents have appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, for renters.
That's great for us.
Yeah, I know. I don't
horrific
mind,
for renters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because nothing like what's gone up that much? What else has gone up that much besides housing prices? Like incomes have not gone up that much.
No.
Has your income gone up that much?
No, nothing.
Your job income?
No, I need to change that. But yeah.
There was an article today. I saw someone shared it. We've been talking about this for a while because your heritage is European as well.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of Canadians, well, many Canadians, your heritage is Canadian. I think I'm just going to bring it up just in case people forget it. People like, for example, you're Italian. Do you know what city your family's from?
I know what city my mom's side is from. My dad's basically Canadian.
Okay.
But yeah.
Let's take Milan, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody owns real estate in Milan. It's usually just tons of rich people that own.
Is it really?
Oh yeah. Like in major European cities, everyone rents. Like think of like London.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh.
Wow, really?
That's your family.
They own in small towns though. They don't.
Yeah, small town.
Yeah.
That's for a big city.
Like
though.
big cities.
Yeah.
I think actually I have family in Italy that owns a few places in like central Rome, and they rent them out.
They're probably pretty well off.
Yeah, they are.
But anyways, the point of the article is saying that we're just going to see more and more of that as time goes on. Not so much time goes on as real estate prices continue to go up.
Yeah.
Is that there will more and more of the population will be renters. And then those renters, higher likelihood that their future generations will be renters. So someone's going to be collecting rent.
Yeah.
So just make the decisions today.
Yeah.
Which side of that do you want to be on? The one collecting rent or the one paying rent? There's nothing wrong with paying rent if you're in the right market. If I was in Alberta, I'd probably prefer to pay rent versus buy.
That's just the rental market in Alberta is a little different though. Here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's very different. I just want to get away from this whole. There's all these people that say like, "Oh, buy real estate and it goes up." That's not true everywhere. What did your parents say about the first house that you wanted to buy?
They were opposed to it. They had been opposed to it for kind of like 6 years prior. I wanted to get into it really
Wait,
early.
You were 18?
I was 18 when I first brought up purchasing a property. They kind of immediately shut it down. And by the time I was like 20, 21, I brought it up again. And we kind of considered it. This was back when like condo prices in Toronto were like low 300s. And they
You would have done well.
Yeah, right. They didn't want to go through with it. And I wasn't really strong enough to push back. I wasn't really thinking in that headspace. And then at 21 or 24, I kind of just said, screw it, and just went for it. And they weren't really on board with it, but they weren't upset about it. Does that make sense? They kind of accepted that I wanted to do it and they let me do it without like pushback. But there was a lot of hesitancy, a lot of like caution from their side. They're not big on risk. I mean, my definition of risk and their definition of risk are a little different, but they're not really big on sort of investing. So it was a big jump for them. And then over the last, say, year and a half, they've kind of come on board. They've seen what I've been doing, how it's been working out. And they've heard the people that I talk to, been able to talk with people that I network with. And then people that I didn't expect that also are investors that live very close to my parents, my parents are friends with, who kind of came out of the blue that they were investors as well, which kind of pushed my parents, I think, over the edge and to actually make the leap. And then that's when they basically approached me and they said they wanted to do it.
No, but you said you had family that seems probably likely successful if they own real estate in Rome.
Yeah. We're close with them, but it's hard obviously because of the distance. We don't see them often.
Okay.
But we never really talk about money when they're over because it's more like catching up, right? It's never like a conversation about money.
So do your parents have pensions?
Yeah, they do. They're both they're retired now, but we're both full-time teachers. Yeah.
That's a very nice pension.
Yeah, it is.
Nice, very nice. Well earned as well.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
No, I can't do what they do or what they did.
So I can appreciate that they don't have the urgency to invest when they.
Yeah, in their mind, they were set for a long time, and I think recent events have kind of changed their mindset. But nonetheless,
interesting.
Yeah.
Did they tell you what they thought the risk was? What risk?
It was just a matter of putting your money where you can't see it. I think that was mostly there, and then taking on extra leverage. So. Taking lines of credit to pay for the renovation and stuff like that, or paying through some sort of loan. Debt has always been like a big no in their minds. And I really had to like educate them on the difference between good debt and bad debt. And so they kind of have slowly come around to it.
You said that you just pushed ahead. So I'm sure lots of people who are trying to get started would just love to push ahead. But how did you form your down payment?
There was a lot of years of a lot of long hours. I worked about 3 jobs for about 2 years. I probably saved more than I needed to start. To be honest with you, I wasn't really sure how much I actually needed to get started. But it was a good probably 3 years, I'd say, of working 2 to 3 jobs minimum.
And this was even before you graduated school. You were working pretty young.
This started sort of in my 4th year, working 2 to 3 jobs.
Okay.
Yeah.
You worked before that too.
Yeah. Well, I didn't work during school. Actually, school became my primary thing. I really wanted to focus on school, but I had kind of an offer to work as sort of a co-op student in my 4th year. So that's when I started really working and putting in more time towards that stuff. So yeah.
Your co-op was in architecture?
My co-op was as an architectural intern.
Okay. Just to rehash, what were these other jobs you had?
There was a time where I was a landscaper. I did garbage for the city. I have a lot of weird. I did sales for a long time for a granola company.
Hey, hang on. You're going too fast.
Sorry.
So landscaping, like you're like digging flower beds, you're pushing the lawnmower.
Yeah, all that.
Oh, so small residential,
and even like parks and stuff like that.
Like city parks? Like
some I worked for the city for a bit, so doing a little bit of parks work there.
Okay.
And then I did some sort of with private contractors and stuff like that.
Hang on, how'd you get in the garbage?
That was with the city, actually. Yeah. I kind of got pushed around while I was working with the city, doing garbage disposal and stuff like that too. Yeah.
Like riding a garbage truck?
Yeah.
Awesome.
No. No, you think it's awesome, but it's not.
Doesn't it pay well?
No, not as a part-time worker. It's not worth what you get paid for.
Are you just abused as like cheap labor?
Yeah, basically, that's what you are.
I didn't know you were a garbage man.
Yeah, well, and it's not like something I like publicly make known to everybody.
Don't worry, no one listens to this.
It's only doubled in viewership. It's fine.
Yeah, so now it's instead of 8 people, it's 16 people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No one listens. No idea. And then how long were you a bartender?
I bartended. Well, I've only recently, probably within the last 2 years, really started bartending.
Okay.
But I mostly served in restaurants for about 4 years. So ever since I got out of school, I was serving.
So since you're 22, sorry.
Since I was like 22, 21. Yeah, 21, 22. Yeah, around there.
Do your friends hustle this hard?
Like, needless to say, actually, most of my friends, like most of my closest friends, if they don't work like 2 to 3 jobs, are working pretty much 100-hour weeks at their full-time jobs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're surrounded by this.
Yeah.
Were your parents like this? They had side hustles?
I mean, my parents have a really great work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
My mom works. When she was working as a teacher, she worked. Geez, she must have worked like 16 hours a day.
Wow, she earned that pension then.
Yeah,
she deserves it.
I mean, that's the nature of their job. It was a little bit different for them, but yeah, they both have really, really good work ethic. So I think I got it sort of as inherited work ethic. I can work really hard, but my problem right now that I'm finding is I have to start learning how to work a little smarter. Yeah, because I can work 100 hours a week and not bat an eye, but how effective are those 100 hours a week?
Yeah, because I've been chirping you about that.
Yeah, I know. I've kind of come to the realization of this last year that I need to start figuring out where my time is best suited. So that's sort of my focus for next year, is see how I can best use my time.
How are you going to focus?
What do you mean? How am I going to focus?
Oh, you said you're going to focus your time.
No, I'm just going to pay more attention to how I use my time and where I allocate my time. So that may mean that I'm not doing a lot of some of the renovations at any new places that I purchase, and that I contracted out, because I think I can probably definitely make more money, or if not the same amount of money, doing something else, learning something new,
right?
Like stock hacking, like we've been talking about, than necessarily doing the contract work myself. I'm actually finding that if I doing the work myself actually costs me more money than if I pay someone to do it. It's not even
carrying costs.
Well, it's the carrying cost, and then it's like obviously like my time associated with that. So it's my lost time plus the carrying cost, plus I'm not getting the discounted prices on materials that contractors get. Right. So when you factor all of that in, I'm actually like, every time, for example, I did flooring at this place right now that I just finished renovating myself, and it cost me about $4,500 to do the flooring, but I probably could have paid a contractor probably I don't know what the actual estimate would be, but I would assume it's within that 5 to 7 range. But when I factor in the amount of time that it took me to do it, because I only had weekends, it took me 4 or 5 weekends. That's basically 1 month of holding costs. Right. So add an extra $2,000 on top of my already spent $4,500 on materials, plus the time that I could have been using for that to make more money instead of, you know what I mean? It became a loss at that point. I sort of realized halfway through, but I was already halfway through, so I just finished it. But yeah, kind of learning how to do that math and do it before I get into it, and figure out how much my time is worth, and what I can effectively do with my time. That's sort of my next step. Yeah.
Right. And then you're doing that for the third project.
Yeah. So we're doing that with the third project.
Right. You want to shout out who your GC is for the third project?
Yeah. Ken Beckendem. Oh, well, it's not confirmed yet, but Ken is going to be coming in soon to help doing some quotes and giving me a rough estimate of where I sit in terms of quotes for that. And then I'm hoping he's going to be able to do it if he's not too busy. If not, I'm probably going to be asking for recommendations and stuff like that, but I'm hoping that he's going to be able to do it. Yeah.
We may need to bleep out his name so no one else bugs him for business.
It's all right.
All 16 people that listen to the show. Yeah, Ken's good people. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
I think he golfs too. But anyway,
that's for another time.
Another time. And also, you live in Vaughan, so how far was that drive for you from Vaughan to Hamilton?
It's about an hour.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Were you sleeping at the property too on the weekends?
There were times where I slept at the property, but there was times where I was sleeping at the property on the first one too. So it's not something that I don't mind doing it. If it needs to get done, it needs to get done. Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to stay away from doing that as much as possible. Yeah. Come to that realization. Work smarter, not harder. That's what
Were you just sleeping on the floor, like sleeping bag?
No,
like
we
anything?
had like a mattress or a blow-up mattress when I was there.
You're camping?
Yeah, basically. No, it's not.
Yeah, I'm so soft now because I'm old. I can't even camp because I'm so soft. I need to
get sore?
sleep on a mattress.
Really?
Yeah, I would get sore.
Do you bring a blow mattress if you go camping, or you just don't even go camping?
No, I don't go camping.
Okay.
At cottage only. Has to be a nice cottage too.
Yeah.
Cottages these days are not like cottages that my friends had when we were growing up. It's different now. People's standards are different now. But yeah, I'm not complaining. So you're not doing any of the work on the third property?
I mean, there may be things here or there that I do.
Uh-huh.
I know my parents who are my JVs, they want to do a few things.
Uh-huh.
Like they want to paint, and because that's just
they're retired.
Yeah, they have
time.
nothing else to do really besides taking care of my grandparents is the most that they do. But they want to feel like they're involved a little bit, I think. That's at least the way my dad explained it to me. So they'll probably be doing the painting. But like most of the other stuff, like the heavy lifting, is mostly going to be done via contractor.
Right, like digging out windows. And
doing all the heavy lifting. Exactly. Yeah, doing all the plumbing, electrical, and stuff like that. Yeah, I did that on this one, not myself, but just coordinating it per se. And I found trying to juggle that and the other things that I was doing, it just became too time consuming, I think.
Was it your neighbors that were speaking to your parents?
Yeah, so quarantine kind of worked in my favor per se, because my parents were home a lot more. So I was having these conversations with my parents a lot more, and they were home and my neighbor was home a lot more. And beknownst to me, my neighbor, who we've known for a while, owns half a dozen hair salons. And we knew that for some time. But we recently found out, my parents found out just by talking with him, that they were talking about what I was doing with him. And he said, I started in real estate when I was younger, when he was like 21 or something like that. And he owns, I think, a dozen commercial properties now. Very extensive stock portfolio. Doesn't work at all. I mean, he's 80 now, but like.
And so I'm just a bit baffled. Is his house like?
No, I mean,
modest.
It's larger in terms of homes go. The area has larger homes, but it's pretty average for the home size in the area that I live in. But like the inside is pretty dated. Like the inside's a lot more dated than my place, their house. But they don't focus on their house. It's their investments. They focus a lot on their investments.
You want to take a guess at their net worth?
No, I don't even know, because I don't know where their commercial properties are located. I know they have, at least from the way I understand what they own, at least 40 commercial units.
Okay.
Somewhere in that range, including their hair salons. So, I mean, this is all news that I found out over quarantine, because we're spending time together more often because everyone's home. And I think that realization kind of pushed my parents over the edge, definitely, to want to like take that leap.
Hey.
Yeah.
And that goes back to, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and they just didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So even though they knew your neighbor and you were in such close proximity, until they actually talked about money, did they actually up their game? Fascinating.
Yeah. I don't think that was the sole thing. I think a lot of it was trusting me.
You were doing well.
Yeah, but I think it definitely helped to give them confidence that this could work.
Right. Do your parents know what your properties are now worth?
I mean, I update them periodically.
Right.
Just because.
Did you know the newest comp? You knew what stuff was selling for now.
For a while, I hadn't really looked, and I kind of looked out of surprise, like out of curiosity, back in August, what things were going for when we started looking for them, and I was really surprised how the numbers had dramatically jumped.
Right, because like the first property you bought for 500.
470.
Sorry, that's the second property.
470 for the
470 plus 65 for renos.
Yeah.
Right, so you're in for 535. And the cheapest duplexes sells 701
now. Yeah.
So you probably had some significant equity gain.
Yes. Not complaining.
Well, just think how long that would take you to earn that money.
Yeah. Oh no, it would not happen. And then I added the second property into that equation. It just makes no sense why you would work for money.
Weird, eh?
Yeah.
And yet you're laying floor. You're laying flooring.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
You're stealing jobs from people.
I'm sorry.
Damaging the economy. Because I've been on your case you should also be learning stock hacking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, which is something that I've been making up an excuse to not start for a while.
But you were already doing it before.
I was, and I think because I was doing it before I had a bad taste in my mouth from when I started, and that's the reason I went into real estate. So back when I was 21 and I kind of wanted to get into real estate, it was more like wanting to get into investing, and not jumping in at 21 kind of made me think, okay, where can I put my money to invest? And I started investing for about 2 years. I was investing in options. And then I had a bad streak in and around when I was 23 and lost a fair bit. And I decided that I wanted to make a little bit more secure investments. And now, granted, I wasn't really doing the safest or more secure in terms of option investing. So that would definitely be the reason why I lost the money that I did. But I was a little gun shy at first to definitely take the stock hacking course or even just start looking at stocks again. And I think it was more confidence in you and then what everyone else was doing, saying, okay, well, maybe if everyone else is doing it, I can take the course. I can learn how everyone is doing it. And I just sort of been gun shy probably. I've been paper trading for the last year, but just gun shy to actually start investing, mostly because obviously most, if not all of my money was tied up in these renos. So, I mean, now that I'm working on the refinance and really starting to pull capital out, I have more capital to actually put into it. And so I think that's my, I'm going to be focusing right now while I'm doing this renovation, with this third renovation on the side. I'm going to be focusing on options for sure.
Fantastic. So make sure have you taken the 2.0?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
The feedback on the 2.0
is very well. It's very good. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What did you do differently before?
It was riskier. It was a lot riskier. It wasn't really investing in. It was more just technical analysis rather than looking at the market holistically and investing in well-performing companies that have kind of a reliable, or what's the word?
Stable,
predictable, income. Stable kind of income. Or it was more just looking at companies that had a technical analysis on the chart that showed that it was moving in one direction, but because sometimes the companies, we didn't really look at the companies, or maybe it was more my ignorance. I wasn't really paying attention to what the company was doing, how the company was performing. The stocks end up going the opposite direction on some naked trades that I did.
Sure. Yeah, because our mutual friend Travis is
we've
doing quite
spoken.
well.
Yeah,
you've spoken?
No.
Did you talk to him after?
Me and you. I haven't talked to Travis about stock hacking in a while.
Go bug Travis.
Yeah,
I can't get him on the pod because
he's too busy.
Well, we will get him on eventually. Because I spoke to him and I shared with you his results, and you're in the Facebook group. You see how everyone else is doing.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the Facebook group in a while though.
Yeah, you don't want to look.
Yeah, really?
You'll be disappointed.
I probably will be.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed just myself from hearing what Travis is doing right now. So I can't imagine what everyone else is doing.
So Andrew H. told me today.
Oh, I don't want to hear it, but go ahead.
He said he's made more in 6 months than 10 plus years that his financial planner has made him.
This hurts.
Yeah. So it's more than six figures. It's six figures. It's 6 figures. And I almost don't want to tell people this because then they don't.
People think it's too easy. Yeah, exactly. It's not. It's not that.
It's not that easy.
No, but
I also believe in telling the truth.
Yeah.
So just to share Andrew H's results, 145% return.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a little abnormal too. Like you're not everyone's making those returns.
No. We do have 3 students who are doing
over 100.
Yeah, 100 more this year. Yeah, that's just ones who told me.
What does Lee do?
Lee doesn't tell me either. No. For listeners who don't know, we partnered with Lilo on the course, and he delivered most of the content. He's a professional trader for 30 years. So anyone who's followed the market for 30 years knows it's done pretty well. I have a feeling that he's quite wealthy. I think he's like your neighbors, and they just don't show it. He doesn't share, but I gotta imagine he's done quite well for himself.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to be nearly as aggressive as we do.
That's fair.
Because I think a lot of us, the people who are doing 100% returns, they are aggressive.
You have to be to make 100% returns.
Yeah. You have to be, and again, just to share, I know a lot of them have done really well with the electrical vehicle companies.
Yes.
Right. That's a big growth area. And
but there's high volatility in those too.
High
right?
volatility. Yeah. Some of it was smart plays as well in terms of investing in the companies that would do well in the pandemic, like an Amazon, like a DocuSign, like Square, all these companies that people are having. Then, folks, this isn't advice.
Yeah.
This is almost common knowledge now for anyone who's
looking at this stuff.
Who's looking at this stuff. Because if you're a small business, for example, lots of them use Square. Realtors for the longest time have using DocuSign. Now lawyers are being basically forced to use some sort of authenticated electronic signature software, and DocuSign has a massive market share already. Yeah. So none of this.
You should look at what businesses are using, what people are gravitating towards, and you just follow the money, and that's basically where it's leading.
Yeah, everyone knows Fiverr. I think everyone knows Fiverr.
Yes.
Now they're called.
I haven't looked at them much, but yeah,
it shut up like 40% after earnings. Yeah. And I was kicking myself as I was talking to my friends about it because, like, we hire people on Fiverr. Why didn't we invest in them?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Yeah.
All right. Some of these things were almost predictable.
Yeah. But you have to be asking the questions.
You have to be asking the questions. You have to be looking for opportunity.
Exactly.
And that's what these people have done. They looked for the opportunity.
Yes. You have to have the conversation. If you're not having the conversations, you're going to miss it. Right. And I think that largely has to do with who you're surrounding yourself with and having, because it's hard to sit back and analyze it on your own. But if you have people that you're brainstorming with, people that you're constantly going back and forth with on these topics, it's easy to spot the signs and where where trends are going and stuff like that. You just have to be looking for them. Yeah.
Now, speaking of going back and forth with people, I know you talk to Tammy DiTommaso quite a bit.
Yes. Yes.
How much do you talk to her?
At least weekly, at bare minimum. There's been very few weeks over the last 2 years that we haven't talked. Yeah. I probably annoy her, but I mean, sorry,
she
Tammy.
loves you. You're like an adult child to her. Because she's not quite old enough to be your mom.
I don't think she wants me to be her adult child.
No, she's incredibly proud of you. But yeah, how has it helped to have, because you've had some guidance along the way.
Yes.
Yeah. How much has that helped? Because like you've talked about your parents and they didn't stop you.
No, they never stopped me, but
right. But they weren't guiding you either.
No, they had no idea.
Right. So who was the first person to guide you then into the real estate world?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I kind of stumbled on it naturally myself after school when I started realizing how much I was actually making. And I did like the tax, like factored everything in with my taxes involved. I was like, and my like living expenses, like this is nothing. What am I doing? So I started looking, well, like how can you grow money passively? And then so a few different things came up and I had tried a few different things and real estate at the time seemed really out of reach. But by the time I tried everything else besides real estate, I had accumulated a portfolio of stocks or options that after sold off, I had the money for a down payment. So I decided to go that route.
Were you Googling? Were you YouTubing?
Yeah, it was mostly Google. I actually had an ex-girlfriend's father who was a realtor who was purchasing a lot of property. Oh. He'd buy at least one property a year or one every other year or something like that was sort of his motto. So he was my realtor before I found Tammy. Anyway, things happened. We went our separate ways and then, yeah. So that, I guess he kind of pushed me onto it, but like kind of not exactly pushing me onto it per se. Like I was more interested from just a passive investment strategy, looking for something that was passive. And then he was just kind of that person that reminded me of real estate, that it was an option.
But then Tammy pushed real estate on you.
I don't know what happened, to be honest with you. I just remember within a month of meeting Tammy, we'd purchased the first deal. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this now. It's history.
I was going to make some poor tasted jokes. She forged your signatures on these electronic signing things. And then how did she help you along the way?
Oh, she's been great along the way. But I think we've talked about this already. But I mean,
remember,
for those,
at least half the people have never even heard your name before. True. Well, these 8 new listeners we have.
These 8 new listeners, yeah. No, Tammy's been great. I mean, in terms of always being there if I have questions, calling me, even just with personal stuff. It's less that she's become my realtor and more a friend. And that's been definitely more beneficial to me than any of the realtor stuff. It's just who she is, how she's willing to help and always be there. So yeah, I mean, like specific. I don't think we need to get into like specifics, but I mean, in terms of like her knowledge on duplexes, out of the people that I've met, she's probably one of the better ones out there, especially for the Hamilton market. Yeah.
No, she
knows her stuff.
I don't know anyone who knows her stuff better than her.
Yeah.
Well, there's Andy Tran, obviously.
Yeah.
But then after that, like to put it all together as well, like including tenants, the market.
Yeah. No, I know.
No, there's special.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that was going to be your answer. That was more on the personal level.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on a personal level, she's been tremendously helpful. I mean, just being there if I had questions or had like problems in certain situations. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because real estate's more complicated than I think the beginner understands. Because even like tenants, for example, they're human beings. Managing human beings is not easy.
No.
I saw this Faith Havoc. He doesn't listen to this show. He posted his
So you can say everything you want.
No. He posted on Facebook text conversation with his tenant, and the tenant said like they had to take furniture from inside the house in Airbnb. They had to take furniture from inside the house to outside the house because there's like voodoo issues with the property. And they even asked him if he would pay for someone to service the property to get rid of the voodoo issues.
Like a median? Like what?
I don't know. The people that were living in the property who managed to stay, even though it was short-term rental. Yeah, I know. No, seriously. And like says like, why is my coffee table outside? And yeah,
that's not serious.
And this is obviously not every case. But yeah, this is a bit extreme.
Yeah.
But you had tenants break up and
had bed bugs in one unit.
Which one was that one?
They had it for a while. They had bed bugs for like 6-7 months, and I sent in 2 or 3 exterminators, and each time they were like, "Oh, it's too heavy." I basically told them to throw out their furniture. Right. I was like, "I'm not paying for any more. Like, throw out your furniture, buy new furniture." Yeah. Yeah, and then my first place, the tenants upstairs.
Do you know who brought in the bed bug?
It was definitely them. Because
did they admit it?
No, they didn't admit it, but it was definitely them.
It's tough being a landlord.
Yeah. That's over. It is what it is.
Yeah. At least you made a lot of money. Yeah, because
the appreciation made up for it, I guess.
The effectiveness of bed bug treatment is largely dependent on the cooperation of people who are in the property.
Yes, I've come to realize that.
Oh, were they not cooperative?
They were definitely not cooperative. There was a few times we sent in exterminators, and they had like they have their prep list of what they have to get done before the exterminator comes in. Yeah. And there was a few times where my exterminator called me and he's like, I can't even like get into these units. I'm not even going to start anything because they didn't prep anything. And it's like, oh fuck shit. Yeah. Oh shit. Sorry. I don't know can you bleep that out?
I'm sure at least 1/3 of the 16 people that are listening will be offended.
Okay. So you're not worried about the 1/3. Okay.
We'll find out how good my podcast producers are. So catch that.
Sorry.
Because they have to, I believe you have to move the furniture away.
Yes.
From the like, it has to be like it has to be away from the walls so they can properly treat. I pretty much did the bag, pretty much like all their clothing and have it treated. Mm-hmm. What about the furniture? Do you remember what else on the prep list?
Anything like soft cushions need to be stacked in one spot and separated, so that they can treat those individually and then treat the furniture separately. Right. So they have to move their mattress out of the way. They have to move all the pillows from the couches, take them off.
Anything you can wash that you normally would wash.
Yes,
you should be washing, sticking in the dryer. Yeah, because bed bugs don't like the heat. Yeah, you need massive cooperation with the tenant to make these things work.
They definitely weren't cooperating. And after the third one, I basically told them like the third exterminator told me that it's just like it's so heavily infested inside the furniture that it doesn't matter what we do. Like they're going to keep coming back and coming back unless we do like 6-7 treatments in a row. Not 6-7, but like a handful of treatments in a row. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I'm like, listen, guys, like you're either going to have to pay for this yourself because I've already paid for 3 different treatments or throw out your furniture because like you have to live here at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So
what'd they do?
They end up throwing out their furniture.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Just put it on the curb?
No, I think they brought it directly to the dump.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because the problem is often
people pick it up.
Yeah. This is Hamilton.
Oh, I've noticed.
This is Hamilton because it's often a source of bed bugs is people pick up off the curb disposed of furniture. So if that's what they had done, if they had, for example, put the couch in the corner, someone else might have picked it up and put it in their home.
Yeah.
And then infestation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hopefully listeners listening, and hopefully that's a useful tip for folks. So how are your parents doing now? Are they nervous?
They are definitely nervous.
Yeah, because you did the deal in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really in the middle anymore. Like, we're kind of well within it now.
We could be the halfway point.
We probably could. Yeah,
They were definitely... Good on them.
They were definitely nervous, but I think, and I'm nervous. I'm nervous too. Me, it's more nervous because I don't want to not disappoint them, but when it's my money, it's easy.
Yeah.
And I think anyone who's probably taken on JV partners, I'm realizing this, it's different when you're taking on other people's money, especially when it starts becoming family, because if I lose my money, I'm okay with that. I knew the risk going in. But if something happens and I lose their money, I feel horrible about it.
Yeah, you got Ken doing the reno.
No, I'm not worried in that sense, but like that's the looming thing that I have.
Yeah, you're renting into strength.
No, I'm not necessarily worried, but like, you know what I mean? Like, that's sort of what goes through your head.
Oh, no. I know. I understand it. I just trying to go through what the actual risks
yeah. When you look at it like from a rational perspective, yeah, no, I'm not nervous at all. But from just like an emotional standpoint, it's a little nerve wracking just feeling like you have to, like, now you have to perform at a certain level. And if you don't, then there's just that extra pressure, but I don't mind it. And knowing that they trust me with it is definitely a big step.
Are they going to sleep in the property?
No. My mom won't even step foot in it. It smells pretty bad.
What happened?
Yeah. We got it. It's a 2-bedroom. We're going to do a conversion for a third upstairs, basement apartment. And we got it at $480.
Oh, that's cheap.
Yeah. $480 up and down gut. Yeah, and it's going to be really nice when it's done. I already have a feeling it's going to be really nice.
What's the budget for the gut?
Well, the total budget that we have is $150 is the most that I want to spend on it. But I think we're going to fall within a $140 range.
And then what do you think the rent's going to be? It's a 2-story, eh? We don't do that many 2-stories.
No, it's not a 2-story.
Oh, sorry. 2-bedroom.
We were looking initially at a 2-story, but it's a 2-bedroom that we're converting into a 3-bed upstairs. I think it's going to probably rent in that $2,000 and $1,600 to $1,700 range in the basement. I mean, I don't see rents dropping, so I mean, that seems reasonable.
Well, demand is strong.
Yeah.
Plus utilities. Are you going to divide hydro in this one?
We'll see how the numbers work out. I'm still working that cost out.
Hey, are you using LCB?
Sorry?
Landlord Credit Bureau?
I'm using it on this place. I just started.
Nice.
I don't know how it's going to work out, but I've just started it.
Nice.
And I have a tenant in one of my units who has poor credit and doesn't have we'll say her boyfriend has really, really good credit. She doesn't have great credit, but she also doesn't have a credit card or any debt or any way to like increase her credit. So I said, okay, why don't we start this credit bureau thing? At least that way you're increasing your credit. It's like having debt every month that you're paying. So at least like it works in your benefit. So that was kind of my selling pitch to her, and she was all for it. So
fantastic.
Yeah, that's that. I'm doing that with her right now. I'm just starting it.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Super cool. And where'd you learn about it?
Here with you.
Oh, right. Look at that. Our meetings are helpful. You coming on November 28th?
Yeah, I already signed up.
All right, awesome.
I sign up right away now. Once I get the email, I don't wait. There's too much of a waiting list, so I just sign up immediately once I get the email.
Awesome. Are you bringing your parents?
If I can swing it, then yes. But they have a busy schedule. I have a grandparent that's in and out of the hospital, so.
Awesome. All right. We're running out of time here.
How long has it been?
It's been a while.
Has it?
Yeah. Any final thoughts for young people? So yeah. Here's one thing. Here's one thing I'll mention is a challenge for many people is coming up with the down payment.
Yes.
You didn't have a challenge coming up with the down payment.
Yes, but I also work a lot harder than most people are willing to work.
Oh, is that the missing piece? I'm not criticizing anyone. It's just I haven't said it for a while on this show. Like Evelyn Marsh is a great example. It's just how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
None of this shit's gonna fall in your lap.
No, nothing.
Right? Did any of this fall in your lap?
Definitely not.
Did the down payment fall in your lap?
No, not at all.
Right. You obviously had some things went in your favor.
Yeah, I was living at home. There was definitely benefits.
Yeah, middle class family, Vaughn, all these. Mm-hmm. But then, I'm sure you know people who don't have a down payment.
Yeah, definitely. I know a lot of people in my area, my age group, same situations.
Yeah,
who for the life of them can't come up with any sort of collectible down payment.
Right.
But there are strategies. Like you can still start investing. You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of people just start making up excuses. Right? Like if you work hard enough and you research and you find out where you can best fit, there's always ways. You can always get into it. I mean, there's a little bit more risk when you don't have money in the deal per se, or none of your money in the deal, but it's all possible. Yeah.
So it's all possible. That's not bad.
Is that your catch slogan for this one? No,
for you. Quote unquote, it's all possible. It's like the Kevin Garnett quote. Anything is possible. And then Joseph Costanza. Yeah. It's all possible.
I don't think I fit on that level, but that's fine. I'll take the compliment.
I wanted to ask you this earlier because you were on the podcast. Do you remember what month you were on the podcast? Roughly a year ago?
14 months ago. About 14 months ago. I think it was like August of last year.
And people messaged you?
A few people definitely messaged me.
Right.
I had a few people reach out to me, ask me questions.
Just questions? No one congratulated you?
I mean, yeah, I had some congratulations, but I had already had most of my congratulations prior because I started posting a lot more about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. How do people follow you? TikTok?
No Snapchat? TikTok. It's Joseph Costanza.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
You're the only one?
Yeah. Got my full name on there.
Okay. Is Costanza spelled the same way as George Costanza?
Yes.
Okay. Just Instagram?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't really have an email or that I let people email me at.
Right.
It's more my personal stuff. But yeah, just Instagram is really the main thing. Or Facebook, obviously.
When you were posting, why'd you stop posting?
I don't know, to be honest with you, why I stopped.
You're installing flooring.
Probably installing flooring. No, I don't know. I kind of stopped. I definitely shouldn't have. I should definitely keep posting. But once I stopped, I think I just never started again. That's definitely something that I need to do a little bit more of. Yeah.
Yeah, you have another property to post about now. Just check out Mike Rosehart. He's always posting.
Oh, I know. I think one of the large thing was purchasing a property right out of COVID. Like once COVID hit, I felt a little guilty to start posting. There was a lot of people losing their jobs. And I felt like it wasn't the time to be posting personal accomplishments. I don't know. I felt like it would be a little insensitive. And that's one of the reasons I stopped. You're looking at me really funny right now, but that was my reasoning.
Interesting.
Yeah. You don't agree, but that's okay.
Because I think you're being disingenuous to yourself. Because you're out there busting your ass, making it happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right. So to hide it, why would you hide it?
I don't know. Felt like it was insensitive a little bit.
Because I get it. It is weird. It is awkward because most people know what I do. I'm in real estate. I own real estate. I do stock stuff. Business has been phenomenal. Any real estate investor listening to this knows this has been phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's weird to talk to people. Like, how are you doing?
Great. I'm just best year yet.
Real estate for most of us is up over 20%.
Yeah.
It's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
But again, like this opportunity has been quote unquote, it's all possible. Right. I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I'll let you go. Let me have another drink on before we leave.
Great. Ciao, folks.
Thank you again for doing this, Joseph.
No problem.
Before you go, if you're interested in learning more about an alternative means of cash flowing like hundreds of other real estate investors have already, then sign up for my newsletter and you'll learn of the next free demonstration webinar I'll be delivering on the subject of stock hacking. It's a much improved demonstration over the one that I gave to my cousin Chubby at Thanksgiving dinner in 2019. He now averages 1% cash flow per week, and he's a musician by trade. As a real estate investor myself, I got into real estate for the cash flow, but with the rising costs to operate a rental business, it's just not the same as it was 5 to 10 years ago when I started. Never forget that cash flow reduces your risk. The more you have, the more lumps you can absorb. And if you have none or limited cash flow, you're going to be paying out of your pocket, like I did on a recent basement flood at my student rental in St. Catharines, Ontario. If you're interested in learning more, register for free for my newsletter at www.truthaboutrealestateinvesting.ca. Enter your name and email address on the right side. We'll include in the newsletter when we announce our next free stock hacker demonstration. Find out for yourself what so many real estate investors are doing to diversify and increase their cash flow. And if you can't tell, I love teaching and sharing this stuff.